All right, good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Jackie Powell, and we are in first appearance court. Today, I'm going to tell you if I found probable cause, and then we'll talk about release conditions. Today's not your trial date, so I encourage you not to speak on the record because everything in this courtroom is being recorded. In the courtroom, I do have attorneys from the state attorney's office, attorneys from the public defender's office, and also over at the main jail, there's an attorney from the public defender's office. I also have confinement status and pretrial supervision and the clerk of court, and everyone is here to make sure that everything runs smoothly. When I call your name, I'm going to ask you to step up to the podium. Each person will be addressed individually. If you have a private attorney, you will let me know. If you're represented by the public defender's office, they will speak on your behalf. All right, so let's start this morning with Jessica Colon.
Good morning, Judge. Ms. Colon is here at Main. She's approaching.
Good morning, Mr. Romero. All right, Ms. Colon, you're before the court for one count of aggravated battery with a deadly weapon, and I do find probable cause, and I'll hear Esteban. Good morning, sir. Does Ms. Colon have priors? Okay. Mr. Romero?
Yes, Judge, I just wanted to know what the state was recommending.
Oh, did you hear it? It's $5,000.
No, I haven't even heard anything.
It's $5,000, no victim contact.
Okay, Judge, what we're going to be asking for is a $2,000 bond. The person that she's going to be reaching out to post her monetary is her mom, and for what she informed me, her mom just started working, so I don't know if her mom's going to be able to afford that. Judge, she is 43 years old. She's been living in our community since 2007. I don't know if I heard, but hopefully they can confirm. Ms. Colon did advise me. She has a clean record. She's a registered voter here in our community. My understanding is that the date of incident on this offense was back in 2018. Judge, so considering her clean record, her ties to the community, and her lack of financial resources, that's why I'm asking for a $2,000 bond on her behalf, Judge.
All right, thank you. I'm going to impose a bond of $2,500, no victim contact. Christine Mascione.
She's approaching, Judge.
All right, ma'am, you're before the court for count 1, touch or strike battery. Count 2 is counts 2 and 3 are abuse of child without great bodily harm. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, the state will be asking for, on the first count, will be asking for $2,500 bond, and the second and third counts, the state will be asking for $5,000 bond each.
Okay.
Judge, in speaking with Ms. Michelle, basically she doesn't work. She's a stay-at-home mother raising her children. She's 34 years old. Right now, from what she advised me, she really has no one to help her out here locally in Broward County. Now, she does have family that resides in Georgia. However, there's no one here that can help her with a monetary bond. Judge, we're going to be asking because I've spoken with Michonne, she has nothing in her history as far as any violent offenses. Judge, considering her lack of any sort of financial resources, nobody to help her post her monetary bond, I'm going to be asking for the court to consider releasing Ms. Michonne on pretrial release.
I will grant Ms. Michonne release to pretrial supervision. No victim contact. Yes. Samantha Kluger.
Ms. Kluger is here at Main Door. She is approaching.
Ms. Kluger is before the court for count one, battery on an officer, count two, battery causing bodily harm, count three, resisting officer without violence, and count three, battery on an officer. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, on count one, the state will be asking for $1,000 bond. Count two and three, the state will be asking for $500 bond each. And on count four, the state will be asking for $1,000 bond.
Okay?
What was the bond request on count one, Judge? I'm
1,000, 500, 500, 1,000.
Let me talk to Ms. Kluger. Thank you, Judge. And speaking to Ms. Kluger, I was advising her as far as normally that is a reasonable bond request by the state. And speaking to her, I was trying to ascertain, is there anyone she could think of for me to go ahead and contact to help post her bond? And nothing's changed. She couldn't think of anyone. She can't afford to have anyone post any sort of monetary bond, Judge. Importantly, this is from what she's advised me, and I believe the state will correct me if I'm wrong. This is her first time being arrested in her life. She's been living here. She was born here. She's 29 years old. She just got a job with a company called IWS in phone sales and customer service, where she just started 3 weeks ago, making only $11 an hour. Judge, considering this is her first time being arrested, her very strong ties to community, and on her, I did have an opportunity to review the PC affidavit. I believe alcohol led to this arrest. I'd be asking the court to consider releasing Ms. Kluger on pretrial release, and random, we wouldn't object if the court wanted to order random alcohol testing.
Pretrial is going to be denied. The bonds will be $1,000 on count one, 500 on two, 500 on three, and 1,000 on four. No victim contact.
Judge, the last request, I would be asking for a photo.
Sure.
Thank you, Judge.
Haley Lichten-Wallner.
North Broward.
Thank you. Good morning. Ma'am, you're before the court this morning for count one is DUI, and count two is a traffic infraction, not for magistrate. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, on this particular one, the state will be asking to retain the $1,000 bond amount.
Okay.
Judge, I'd be asking you to consider a pretrial release from Ms. Lichten-Waller. She has been a member of our community for an extended period of time, and she can bond out. She can make the $1,000 bond, but she doesn't have access to the money right now. So she's in one of those positions where she has it, but she can't get to it. So I'd ask the court to consider releasing her on her own recognizance.
I will grant pretrial supervision with random testing.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, ma'am.
So you report.
so that's all.
Yes, ma'am,
Thank you, ma'am.
that information that you've been given, it tells you where to go for to sign up for the pretrial supervision. You need to make sure you do that within 24 hours of your release. Failure to do so, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand? Okay?
I understand. Thank you.
All right.
Good
you're
luck.
Thank you.
Amadra Duncan,
Local research on it.
okay? Suzette Howard,
Yes, ma'am. How you doing?
good morning, ma'am. I'm doing well. You are before the court today for one count of touch or strike battery, and I do find probable cause.
Judge, based on my conversations with Ms. Howard, she's been a resident of South Florida her entire life. She's an Uber driver.
Yes.
She has absolutely no intention of having any kind of contact with the alleged victim in this case, but she's not able to post a $1,000 bond. I'd ask the court, if her prior record isn't too substantial, and I don't believe that it is, to consider releasing her on her own recognizance.
Your Honor, the state will be asking for $500 bond with a no victim contact.
Oh, the allegations here is that Ms. Howard was at the victim's front door. So,
Yeah, she's going to stay away from the victim, Judge.
Yes, I am, Judge.
all right. And what's the status with, is there mental health concerns with Ms. Howard?
You know, we talked about that, and it is a concern, but I think that she's okay. I did not experience anything in my conversations with her that would indicate that I thought that she was incompetent to proceed or had any of those type of issues. I know what the police report says about the knife, and we talked about it. She indicates to me that she is not a threat to herself.
All right, I'm gonna leave the bond of $1,000 in place and no victim contact. Good luck, ma'am. For Mika Charlton, Ms. Charlton, you're before the court. Count 1 is possession of drug paraphernalia. Count 2 is a traffic capious matter for an expired driver's license more than 6 months. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, with regard to Ms. Charlton, she is a chef, and she has been living here for a long time. She's given me the number of her sister and her boyfriend for me to call to try and bond her out. She's not sure if they're going to be able to come up with the money to bond her out. I know that she missed court apparently on this driver's license charge. But I would ask the court, since it's a drug paraphernalia, I would ask the court to consider releasing her.
Your Honor, on this particular case, the state will be asking that the bond be left in place. On the first count is $100, and on the second count is $500.
Does Ms. Charlton have any priors? All right, I'll release Ms. Charlton on pretrial supervision.
Thank you, Judge.
Ma'am, that information that has been handed to you, you must report to the pretrial office within 24 hours of your release. Failure to do so, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Yes. Okay? Chantel Lump.
She's here, present, Judge Amin.
All right, Ms. Lump, you're before the court for count 1, possession of cocaine, and count 2, possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause.
Judge, and speaking Ms. Lump, at this time, nothing to add by the defense.
Okay.
Your Honor, Your Honor, on this particular case, the state will be asking that the bond as is should be left in place. On the first count is $1,000, and on the second count to be released on her own recognizance.
All right, thank you. So, Ms. Lump, your bond is $1,000 on count 1. Triana Rodriguez. Ms. Rodriguez, you're before the court. Count 1 is possession of heroin, and count 2 is possession of drug paraphernalia. I do find probable cause.
Judge, based on my conversations with Ms. Rodriguez, she's provided me with the number of someone I can call to help her post her bond, but she's not sure if that person's going to be able to come up with $1,000 to do it. If her record is not too bad, she has been living here all of her life. I would ask the court to consider releasing her on pretrial release.
Your Honor, on this one, we'll be asking that the bond be left in place as is, $1,000 on the first count, and to be released on our own recognizance on the second count.
Does Ms. Rodriguez have priors? All right, so I'll release Ms. Rodriguez to pretrial supervision with random drug testing.
Good luck, Ms. Rodriguez.
Ma'am, that information that has been handed to you, you must report to the pretrial supervision office. Your release does include random testing, and they will give you more information about that when you go to sign up. Failure to do so, a warrant will be issued for your arrest. Do you understand?
Yes,
Okay, good luck, ma'am.
thank you.
Allison Pingal.
No problem.
All right, Ms. Pingal, you are before the court for count 1, battery on an officer, and then count 2 is a misdemeanor capias. I do find probable cause.
Ms. Pingal indicated to me that she would like to resolve count 2, if we could do that. And I think that there's a number I can call to help her bond out on count 1 if the court is inclined to set a bond. I'd be asking the court to consider releasing her on her own recognizance or to pretrial release on count 1. But if not, I think I have a number I can call to maybe get her out.
Your Honor, on count 1, the state will be asking for $1,500 bond. The defendant in this particular case has extensive priors and will be leaving the bond as to count 2 as is.
Does the state have an offer for count 2? She's asking to resolve count 2.
Your Honor, if she wants to resolve today, the offer will be adjudication and 10 days in Broward County Jail.
Take an adjudication and time served if the court would care to become involved in the negotiations.
Count 2 is a prostitution charge. Ma'am, if you wish to resolve your case, the sentence will be adjudication, time served with a HIV test.
Will that be for both
No,
charges?
no, ma'am, it'll only be for one. The first charge you cannot resolve at magistrate. It is a felony charge. All right.
Allison, do you want to resolve the prostitution charge?
Yes.
If you enter a plea of no contest, the sentence would be an adjudication in the time that you spent in jail. In that case, that charge would be over.
Okay.
All right, ma'am, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
You can put your hand down. Do you understand everything that's going on here today?
Yes.
Are you sure you want to resolve this case today?
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
And do you understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you're giving up that right?
Yes.
Do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, that by taking a plea, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes.
What plea do you wish to enter? Guilty
No
or,
contest.
okay, I accept your no contest plea. Find that it's freely and voluntarily given. As to the misdemeanor capias matter, which is before the court today on a prostitution charge, your sentence will be adjudication and time served, and you must take a HIV test and submit a receipt to show that you did take the test, okay? Good luck, ma'am. And your bond on count one is $1,000. Rhonda Williams.
Hold on, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Williams, you're before the court today for count one is a petty theft. I do find probable cause.
Because when I first looked at this, I didn't realize it was on the felony docket, and Ms. Williams and I had talked about possibly resolving it, but apparently that's not going to happen since it is a felony. She has been living here over 30 years, Judge. She's been living in the same location for the last 10. I'd ask the court to consider, if her prior record isn't too bad, releasing her on pretrial release. Sounds like Ms. Williams had a rough time in 2007, 2008, but she seems to be doing pretty good in 2019. I'd ask the court to release her on her own recognizance.
All right, I'm gonna deny that her bond is $750. Good luck, ma'am.
Your Honor, may I say one thing, please?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm currently enrolled in my master's. I'm 5 credits from receiving my master's, and if I don't withdraw, I will fail the courses in my capstone. If I could please, I've been out of trouble for the past 10 years, and I have no family here in Florida that can bond me out.
Ma'am, I'm sorry for the situation, but the bond remains at $750.
Can I ask the,
Morgan Colburn.
the attorney to call me, please?
Okay,
Thank you.
Judge, I've been advised Ms. Colburn bonded.
thank you. Rose Major.
She's here at Main, Judge.
Ms. Major, you're before the court today for count one, driving while license suspended. Count two, failure to wear safety belt, which is not for magistrate. I do find probable cause.
Judge, in speaking with Ms. Major, I intend on contacting her husband after court to post her monetary bond. So no request from the defendant.
Your Honor, on this one, the state will be asking for you to leave the bond as is, $750 on count one.
Okay, thank you. Your bond is $750, ma'am. All right, Mr. Shade.
Morning, Judge.
Good morning.
Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. On page 10, William Janice,
Main jail, Judge. William Janice.
Please approach Mr. Shea.
thank you.
Mr. Janice, there's Mr. Shea.
All right, Mr. Janice, you're before the court for a municipal ordinance violation. It's an open container of alcohol. I do find probable cause. What does Mr. Janice wish to do?
Judge, this is coming out of the city of Deerfield, and they would offer a time served plea.
Mr. Janice, do you wish to resolve your case today? The offer is adjudication and time served.
Yes.
All right, as best as you can, sir, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay, you can put your hand down. Mr. Janice, do you understand everything that's going on here today?
Yes, I do.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
And you understand you have a right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you're giving up that right?
Yes.
Do you need more time to speak with your attorney?
No.
And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, by taking a plea, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, I do.
What plea do you wish to enter, sir?
I'll take the guilty plea.
All right. I accept your plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given, and your sentence is adjudication and time served. And I'll give you 6 months to pay your court costs, sir. Good luck.
Thank you.
And then on page 10, we have Christopher Floyd. Mr. Floyd, you are before the court for a misdemeanor capias on a municipal ordinance violation, sleeping in the public. I do find probable cause. What does Mr. Floyd wish to do?
Judge, this is out of the city of Hollywood, and they would offer a time served plea on this as well.
Mr. Floyd, the city of Hollywood is offering time served to resolve your case. Do you wish to do that?
Yes.
All right, sir, as best as you can, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
And you can put your hand down. Do you need more time to speak with your attorney?
No.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No.
And you understand you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you're giving up that right?
Yes.
And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, by taking a plea, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes.
What plea do you wish to enter, Mr. Floyd? Guilty or no contest?
No contest.
All right, I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given, and your sentence is adjudication and time served. I'll also give you 6 months to pay your court costs. Good luck.
Judge, right there.
Oh, you're welcome. Anya Savain,
Bonded, Judge?
thank you. Antonella Julienne,
Bonded?
okay. Sarah P.O.
North Broward.
Ma'am, you're before the court this morning for theft. Count 1 is retail theft. Counts 2 through 8 are out-of-county felony holds. Those are all no bonds and not for magistrate. I do find probable cause.
Ms. Pio indicated to me, Judge, that she believes her mother could post a $1,000 bond if the court would consider placing a $1,000 bond on count 1.
But I'm not 100% sure. I'm hoping that she could. She's on disability, so I don't know if her disability came yet. I don't know anything.
You know I'm supposed to be a lawyer.
Just put the BC. Perfect. Thank you so much.
All right, I am going to leave the bond in place for $3,500. Ms. Pio is out on several, her out-of-county dealing in stolen property, grand theft, fraudulent use of personal ID, petty theft, all out of Palm Beach County. So our bond is $3,500. Good luck.
I'll call your mom, Sarah.
Amelie Rip.
No problem.
All right, Ms. Rip, you are before the court for 4 counts of misdemeanor capias. Well, Counts 2 and 3 are felony case numbers, even though it says, so it's 1 misdemeanor capias, 2 felony capias, and count 4 is a misdemeanor capias. Counts 2 and 3 are no bond holds and not for magistrate. The bond on count 1 is $500, and the bond on count 4 is $500. Good luck, ma'am.
Okay.
Secunda Tharp.
No problem.
All right, Ms. Tharp, you are before the court for count 1 is false ID given to a law enforcement officer. Counts 2 and 3 are felony violation of pretrial. Those are no bond holds and not for magistrate. Counts 4 and 5 are false ID given to a law enforcement officer.
I'm sorry, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Okay, so I have 3 counts of the same charge, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and how is that possible? Did I say it 3 times, or?
Right.
Please, thank you. Because if I recall, that was one incident.
All
so
right, ma'am, I'm gonna tell you to stop talking about your case. Speak with your attorney about,
may I speak with him, please?
well, not, I don't mean for this morning. So your bond on count 1 is $100. Counts 2 and 3 are no bond holds. Counts 4 and 5, no bond is required. Good luck.
We'll have someone up to see you soon, Ms. Tharp. You can explain everything to them, okay?
You'll have someone to see me, I'm sorry? I didn't get that.
We'll send a public defender up to see you within the next week or so, within the next few
Okay,
days.
well, I have a circuit court.
All right,
hearing
ma'am. Kimberly Garcia, you
in a
will,
couple of days.
you
So
will
how are
go,
you gonna-
you will go to see your judge on the felony matters, and then you can talk to your attorney about whatever else you wish to talk about. This is all being recorded, so wait until you see your attorney, okay?
Okay.
Kimberly Garcia.
One last question, please, Ms. Powell. Can you also just find out when my circuit court date is? I didn't get a court date or anything.
But that's not my job. That's why I'm telling you to speak to your attorney. It's not my job to find out your court date.
So you were just here to read me?
All right, ma'am. I'm gonna tell you to quietly walk away.
I apologize.
Okay, Kimberly Garcia.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Garcia, you're before the court today for count 1, possession of cocaine, count 2, possession of heroin, count 3, possession of MDMA. I do find probable cause. Does anyone wish to be heard as the bond on Ms. Garcia?
Judge, I don't think Ms. Garcia is in a position to make any type of a monetary bond. If her record is not too bad, I'd ask the court to consider releasing her to pretrial release.
What are the other prior drug charges?
Okay. We have 2018 possession of fentanyl, possession of drug paraphernalia. 2000 she also has a 2013 violation of probation felony for possession of heroin.
All right, I'm gonna deny pretrial. Their bond is $1,000 on each count. Good luck, ma'am. Anthony Adone. Is he a reset? Okay, thanks. Brendan Lauterbach.
Judge, he's here at Maine and approaching. Mr. Lauterbach, come on up, please.
Ma'am, sir, you're before the court for a traffic capias matter, and I do find probable cause. It's for operating without a valid license.
Judge, in speaking Mr. Lauterbach, he wishes to ask the court if the court would consider resolving this matter today.
Does the state have an offer?
Your Honor, at this time, the state will be offering a withhold and court cost if he wants to resolve today.
All right.
Judge, he wishes to accept the state's offer.
All right, sir, as best you can, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, sir, you can put your hand down. Do you understand everything that's going on here today?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you need more time to speak with your attorney?
No.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And you understand you have a right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, by taking a plea, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, ma'am.
What plea do you wish to enter, Mr. Lauterbach?
No contest.
All right, sir, I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given, and your sentence is a withhold adjudication and court costs. Good luck.
Thank you.
Trevor Worthington. All right, Mr. Worthington, you're before the court for a traffic capias matter. It's a expired driver's license more than 6 months. I do find probable cause. What does Mr. Worthington wish to do?
Judge, in speaking Mr. Worthington, he wishes to ask the court if the court would consider resolving this matter today.
All right, State, do you have an offer?
Yes, Your Honor. If he wants to resolve today, the offer is an adjudication and court costs.
He wishes to accept the state's offer.
All right, Mr. Worthington, if you'd raise your right hand as best you can, do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, sir, you can put your hand down. Do you understand everything that's going on here today, sir?
Yes.
And are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
Do you need more time to speak with your attorney?
No.
And do you understand that you have a right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you're giving up that right?
Yes.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No.
And do you understand, sir, that if you're not a U.S. citizen, by taking a plea, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes.
What plea do you wish to enter?
No contest.
I accept your no contest plea, find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence is adjudication and time served, and I'll give you 6 months to pay your court costs. Good luck.
Good luck, sir.
Yuli Mondesir.
Approaching Judge here at Maine.
Sir, you are before the court today. Count 1 is DUI, alcohol or drugs, first offense. And count 2 is DUI with a breath level greater than 0.15. Count 3 is driving unsafe vehicle. Count 4 is failure to use signal. Count 6 is learner's driver's license violation. Counts 3 through 5 are not for magistrate. I do find probable cause, and I'll hear from the attorneys in regards to the bond.
Judge, at this time, the defense is just going to be requesting a phone order.
Okay. State?
Your Honor, at this time, the state will leave the bond as is. $500 for count 1 and $1,000 for count 2.
Okay. All right. So, Mr. Mondesir, your bond on count 1 is $500, and your bond on count 2 is $1,000. Good luck, sir. Eric Spar.
Mr. Spark, come on up, please. sworn in stage, Judge.
All right, Mr. Spar. Yes, I see that, but Mr. Shade has come and gone. So, Mr. Spar, you are before the court for municipal ordinance matters, but they are battery and resisting without violence charges. So, I do find probable cause, and I'm going to leave the bonds in place at $500 each. You failed to appear for your arraignment on February 19th. That's the basis for the KPS. So you have court tomorrow at 9 a.m. So you'll be before your division judge tomorrow, sir. Good luck. Devin Maynor. All right, Mr. Maynor, you're before the court for count 1, petty theft. Count 2, misdemeanor capias. I do find probable cause. This capias is from October 2017 for possession of drug paraphernalia.
Yes, Judge. Judge, it's me, Mr. Mayor. He wishes to ask the court or the state if they have a plea offer regarding this matter.
For the petty theft as well?
Correct.
And have you? I'm assuming you've had that conversation with him in regards to petty thefts, because I don't know what his record is.
1 moment, Judge.
State.
Your Honor, if he wants to plea out today on the first count, the petty theft, is going to be adjudication and court cost, and on the second count is going to be a withholding court cost.
Does he have prior petty theft charges or theft charges?
No, Your Honor.
All right.
Judge, thank you for giving me that opportunity. I just spoke with Mr. Manor. I did advise him the consequences if he has 2 prior convictions on a petty theft. The third time he gets arrested on a petty theft, the state could choose to go ahead and file it as a felony. But he does understand that. He wishes to go forward. But also speaking with Mr. Manor, he advised me that this is his 3rd time being arrested on a petty theft. If the state can confirm that, I'd ask the court to consider a withhold on count 1. Oh, Judge, I take that back. He said, no, this is not his first time. This is my first time.
All right. So the offer from the state is adjudication and court costs on count 1, withhold and court costs on count 2.
He wishes to accept the state's offer.
All right, Mr. Maynor, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
You can put your hand down, sir. Mr. Maynor, do you understand everything that's going on here today?
Yes, ma'am.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
No, ma'am.
Have you had enough time to speak with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
No, ma'am.
And you understand you have a right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you understand that if you're not a U.S. citizen, by taking a plea, it could subject you to deportation or immigration changes?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
No.
All right.
No.
What plea do you wish to enter, sir?
No contest.
All right. I accept your no contest plea. I find that it's freely and voluntarily given. Your sentence, sir, is count 1 is adjudication and court costs. Count 2 is a withhold adjudication and court costs. Good luck, sir. Jason Shugart.
Good morning, Judge. Mr. Shugart is approaching.
Good morning, Mr. Shugart. You are before the court for driving while license suspended. I do find probable cause. What is Mr. Shugart?
Judge, and speaking Mr. Shugart, he wishes to resolve this matter for him.
All right, state.
Your Honor, if he wishes to resolve today, the offer will be withhold and court cost.
All right. All right, Mr. Shugart, as best you can, please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
Okay, sir, you can put your hand down. Mr. Shugart, you understand everything that's going on here today?
Correct.
Do you need more time to speak with your attorney?
Negative.
Is anyone forcing you to resolve your case?
Negative.
Are you under the influence of drugs or alcohol?
Negative.
And do you understand that you have the right to go to trial, but by taking a plea today, you are giving up that right?
Affirm.
All right. And have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
Plead the fifth. I don't understand the reason for the question, Your Honor. If it matters, I mean.
Well, it does. So I'll tell you, it does matter because I need to make sure that you understand everything that you're doing today in taking a plea. So that's
I understand.
So that's the purpose for that question.
I understand the context of your question.
All right. So I'm going to ask it again. Have you ever been treated for mental or emotional illness?
I do plead the fifth, Your Honor.
All right. I'm not going to take this plea. He can go to his division.
Oh, if it.
No. There's no. Let's not go back. I did it twice. I explained it to him, and he pled the fifth. Let's
Oh,
leave.
I didn't understand that. That's a question.
Ronald Romano. Ronald Romano.
Mr. Romano is approaching, Judge.
All right, Mr. Romano, you are before the court, sir, for count 1 is DUI, alcohol, or drugs. Counts 2 and 3 are DUI with damage to property or person of another. And count 4 is careless driving, which is not for magistrate. I do find probable cause.
Judge, we're going to be asking for Mr. Romano to be released on pretrial release. He's 73 years old, been living here in South Florida for 20 plus years. He has disability. Judge, he lives here locally in Fort Lauderdale. So therefore, Judge, we're asking for Mr. Romano to be considered released on pretrial release.
Your Honor, on this case, on the first count, the state will be asking for a $500 bond. On the second and third count, the state will be asking for a $1,000 bond each. I would also make the court aware that the defendant also has a conviction for DUI in 2005.
Okay. All right, based on the allegations in this probable cause affidavit, I'm going to leave the bonds in place, 500, 1,000, and 1,000. Good luck, sir. Michael Cade.
No problem.
All right, good morning, Mr. Cade.
Morning.
You are before the court today for resisting without violence, and count 2 is trespassing. Mr. Cade, I know that you have a case in community court.
Yeah.
So, what's going on?
Well, first of all.
Well, don't tell me about your case.
What you want to know?
I can. What did we do before? We signed an order to transfer to community court. He has another case before Judge Barner in community court.
Yes, I agree.
So, we can just transfer. All right, so I'm going to transfer you. You need to see Judge Barner, okay?
Yeah.
So I need to ROR him so he can. So you'll be ROR'd, and you need to go see Judge Barner on Wednesday.
Okay.
All right, she's
Make sure
looking
you show
forward
up,
to
Mr.
seeing
Cade.
you.
Yeah, I guarantee you.
You guarantee it? All right, good luck.
Yep.
James Friedman.
Mr. Freeman's here, present, Judge at Maine.
All right, Mr. Friedman, you are.
He's approaching, Judge.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Friedman, you're before the court. Count one is an out-of-county felony hold out of Palm Beach County, and count two is a grand theft of a firearm. And I do find probable cause as to count two. Count one is a no bond hold and not for magistrate. So I'm gonna leave the bond in place for count two at $7,500.
Judge, we're gonna be requesting a photo order.
Sure. All right, Quintrell Daly.
Mr. Daly?
Mr. Daly, you are before the court for robbery, no firearm or weapon. And I do find probable cause. And I'll hear from the parties as to bond. Not sure why this is no firearm, because the probable cause affidavit says there was a firearm. All right, Mr. Romero, you wish to be heard?
Judge, I first wanted to see if what was the state's recommendation, but having said that, Judge, and I'm sure the state will correct me if I'm wrong, my understanding is this is his first arrest. He is working two jobs. He works at Aldberg, where he's a chef. He's been working there for the past 5 months, making approximately $17 an hour, where he works part-time. Full-time, sorry, I apologize. And right now he just got hired at a different restaurant. It's called Sinestada Resort, where he'll be a chef as well, and he was scheduled to start this week. Now, he lives in Lauderdale Lakes, in an apartment that he rents, where he's been residing there for the past 2 years. He has shared parental responsibility of his children, which he shares with their mother. Judge, he does have family that reside in our community who he'll be reaching out to post his monetary bond. He's been living here in our community for basically 24 out of his 26 years. So, Judge, at this time, I wish to request of the court to set a bond of $3,000 on his behalf, Judge. That's why I wanted to know what the state was their recommendation.
Your Honor, on this particular case, the state do realize that nothing is coming up on the defendant as to priors, but this case, he was charged with robbery with a weapon. Based on that fact and the fact that he can be identified by the victim in this particular case, and he used a gun, the state will be asking for $35,000 bond.
All right, I do find probable cause based on the allegations in this affidavit. I do find that a reasonable bond is $10,000, no victim contact. Mark Conan.
Come on up, Mr. Conan.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Conan. You're before the court. Count 1 is possession of cocaine. Counts 2, 3, and 4 all traffic infractions, not for magistrate. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, the client is currently on pre-trial release for possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and attaching improper license plate to a motor vehicle. Due to you finding probable cause in this case, in case number 192057 CF10A, we're asking that you revoke his pre-trial.
When was Mr. Conan placed on pretrial? February 14th of 2019. All right.
Judge, I'm going to be asking for the court to consider releasing Mr. Conan. My understanding of the case that he's out on standard pretrial release. I'm going to be asking for the court to modify it to release him on level 2 with a monitor. And I'm also asking on this offense to have him released on level 2 with a monitor. He's been living here for almost 40 years. He lives here locally with his mother, who's 87 years old, who is collecting Social Security. So from what Mr. Conan advised me, she is not in a financial position to post his bond. And right now, he's not in a position to post his own bond. So right now, unfortunately, Mr. Conan is not working. So therefore, his only means of potentially being released would be for us asking for the court to have him released on level 2 with a monitor.
All right. Mr. Conan was released to pretrial with a non-monetary bond on case number 192057 CF10A for possession of cocaine, possession of drug paraphernalia, and attaching improper license plate. He was placed on pretrial February 14th of this year. Today, Mr. Conan is before the court on another charge of possession of cocaine. And so I am going to revoke pretrial supervision on 192057 CF10A. I am going to impose a no bond hold. And the bond on the new arrest is $1,000. All right, Mr. McLawrence, you've got Tion Hunter.
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, Judge.
Tion Hunter on page 19.
Mr. President, Judge, your name?
All right, Mr. Hunter, you have 2 municipal ordinance violations that you're before the court today, and also count 3 is a felony violation of probation. That's a no bond hold, and you will be before your felony judge tomorrow at 8:30.
Judge, I spoke to Mr. Hunter about counts 1 and 2, and I told him that my recommendation is that he not do anything with those counts because those would certainly automatically violate his probation. I did look at his probation case, and there has not been an affidavit that has been uploaded.
Okay.
So more than likely, these may be added to that affidavit whenever it is brought before the judge. So I would ask the court to take no action with Mr. Hunter as far as counts 1 and 2 concerned.
All right. Granted.
Judge, additionally, I had
good luck, sir.
A matter on page 10, which was Eric Spar.
Okay.
I understand the court may have handle that matter? I don't know.
I probably did. We handed Spar. Everything was left in place. Okay.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, good luck. Walter Delia.
No, Mr. Julie, come on.
Mr. Delia, you're before the court. Count 1 is disorderly intoxication. Count 2 is corruption by threat of a public servant. Count 3 is resisting officer without violence. I do find probable cause.
Your Honor, on count 1, the state will be asking for $300 bond, on count 2, $1,500 bond, and on count 3, $500 bond. As to priors, the defendant has a 2017 adjudication for resisting an officer without violence. He also has a 2017 DUI involving property damage, where he pled guilty. Based on these facts, I'll be asking that the bond be set as I stated earlier.
Okay.
Judge, you heard Mr. Delia doesn't have serious priors. I do not believe he's a convicted felon. He's been living in our community his whole entire life. He's 27 years old. At this time, from what he advised me, he's looking for work, and he actually has a job interview this week with Subway. He was working before at a restaurant called Food Zone. Judge, he's going to be living in Miami with his brother. His brother, from what he advised me, won't be able to help post his bond or help him financially. So we are asking, because of his strong ties to the community, his lack of any serious priors or serious contact with the criminal justice system, we're asking for the court to consider releasing Mr. Delia on pretrial release.
All right. Mr. Delia, based on the allegations in the affidavit, count 2, I am going to impose a bond of $1,500. Counts 1 and 3 does not require a bond. And, all right. Okay, that's it. Count 2, $1,500. Jarvis Butler.
Mr. Butler is approaching, Judge, and he declined the service as public defender. Come on up, Mr. Butler.
Mr. Butler, good morning. Sir, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you plan on hiring a private attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So for these proceedings this morning, you will speak on your own behalf. Is that correct?
No, ma'am.
Well, what is their other option?
I'm gonna change. I'll get a public defender right now.
Okay.
Judge, one brief moment.
Sure.
Judge, we're ready to proceed.
All right, Mr. Butler, you're before the court. Count 1 is carrying concealed firearm. Count 2 is grand theft of firearm. Count 3 is felony violation of probation. That's a no bond hold. You will be before your division judge tomorrow at 8:30 on the felony matter. I do find probable cause.
And Judge, can I just finish speaking to Mr. Butler? Considering he has a no bond hold, at this time nothing to request of counts 1 and 2. He has to go tomorrow and seek relief in front of his division judge.
All right, so the bonds will remain in place, $1,000 on each count. Good luck, sir. Rodney Mitchell.
Mr. Mitchell, come on up, please.
Mr. Mitchell, you're before the court for trafficking in heroin under 14 grams. I do find probable cause.
Judge, Judge, in speaking with Mr. Mitchell earlier today, we're going to be requesting a bond reduction. As you can see, his bond is currently set at $75,000. We're going to be asking the court to consider reducing the bond to $20,000. He's 33 years old, been here his whole entire life. At this time, he's currently looking for employment. He was previously working at a concrete company making about $13 an hour. Now, he lives in Fort Lauderdale with his mother, where they've been residing at the same apartment now for about 4 years, and their monthly rent is $1,100. From what he informed me, his mom helps him with the rent, and she's on a fixed income receiving Social Security. So as you could see, his financial resources are quite limited. He owns no property, and that is the basis why we're asking the court to consider reducing it from $75,000 to $20,000.
Your Honor, on this particular case, the state will be arguing against reducing the bond based on the facts of this case and the defendant's prior. The defendant was incarcerated in 2000 for robbery with a deadly weapon, firearm, 4 different counts. In 2015, the defendant was also arrested for robbery with no weapon. He pled to failure to register a vehicle, and also in 2017, firearm by a felon, carrying concealed weapon, resisting an officer without violence, and grand theft. And based on these facts and just the defendant's prior, the state will be asking that the bond be left as is.
The case on the firearm by a convicted felon and carrying concealed firearm is still filed
open. So the bond will remain at $75,000. Good luck. Thomas Lovell.
Mr. Lovell, come on up, please.
Mr. Lovell, you're before the court. Count 1 is possession of heroin, and count 2 is sleeping on private property. I do find probable cause.
Judge, unfortunately, Mr. Lovell advised me that he cannot financially post his own bond, and right now there's no one he can reach out to post his monetary bond. He's 41 years old. He's looking for work. He lives in Boca with his father. His father is retired, getting Social Security. They've been living at that residence for the past 6 months. Considering this is a drug offense, non-violent, we're going to be asking the court to consider releasing Mr. Lovell on pretrial release.
Your Honor, on this particular case, the state will be asking that the bond be left as is. The defendant has a 2018 battery and trespassing case, which he, based on just that prior, will be asking that the bond be left as is.
Is that case still open?
No, Your Honor, he pled the case.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Lovell, I will place on pretrial supervision with random drug testing.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Sir, this is a map location of pretrial students who are released today. This is where you must report, follow the error. If they're closed by the time you get out, report there tomorrow morning. Failure to report, agree to a warrant for your arrest. Okay, good luck, sir. All right, thank you.
David Angulo.
Mr. Angulo is a approaching judge, and he declined the services of public defender. Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Angulo. Sir, do you have a private attorney?
Trying to get one.
Okay. You are before the court today for count 1, driving while license suspended, habitual. Count 2 is speed limit law, 3rd violation. Counts 3 and 4 are felony violation of probation. Those are no bond holds. So you will be before your division judge tomorrow at 8:30, and the bonds on count 1 and 2, 1 is $750 and 2 is $1,000, okay?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
All right, good luck. Jimmy Rostas.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. You are before the court for, there's an out-of-county felony hold. That's a no bond hold. It looks like out of Bay County. And then there is a out-of-state felony hold. That's also, oh, Bay County is Virginia. They're both out-of-state felony holds. So those are no bond holds, sir. You should be going to extradition court either Tuesday or Thursday of this week. All right, Sean Gaddy.
Mr. Gaddy is approaching judge. He's here at Maine, and he declined the services of public defender.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Gaddy. Do you have a private attorney?
I need to get one assigned, but not at this time.
All right. You are before the court today on one count of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. And I do find probable cause. So now I'll hear from the state in regards to what they're seeking for bond.
Your Honor, on this, Your Honor, 1 minute for me to just look up his bios.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, on this particular case, based on the facts of the probable cause affidavit and the facts of this case, the state will be asking for a $75,000 bond.
What was it that you said?
$75,000 bond, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So, yes.
Am I able to speak, Your Honor?
Yes, just don't talk about the case. Just tell me what considerations you want me to hear in regards to your bond.
So the last time I was arrested, I believe was 2009, for possession charges. I was under substance abuse at the time, and I rehabilitated myself since then. I've had some minor traffic infractions since then. I'm actually a substance abuse counselor. I take pride in my work. So in regards to that, I haven't had any issues in pretty much the last 10 years. And I have my day job. I'm not sure what my current situation is, but, I'm in jeopardy of possibly losing my job, and I don't have those type of finances whatsoever. So that's my current situation. I believe that I'm, pretty much a law-abiding citizen, and, this is kind of a shock to me to even be in this situation.
All right. The allegations here are that you pointed there was a loaded gun at someone while you were driving. So I have to take all of that into consideration, sir. So based on the allegations and what I've heard this morning, I am going to impose a bond of $20,000. Good luck, sir.
Thank you.
We only have a few more left, so...
yes, there's someone up in North Broward. I believe.
Okay, who is it? Is it Gomez Nahera?
I think...
That's the next person. So,
Yes, I think
you're
so.
right on time. Is that North Broward? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Eugenio Gomez Nahera?
Eugenio Gomez Nájera.
Sí.
Yes.
Nahera. Count one is possession, is carrying a concealed firearm.
El primer cargo es portar arma oculta.
And count two is resisting officer without
El
violence.
segundo cargo es resistirse al arresto sin violencia.
I do find probable cause.
Considero que existen indicios probables
Does the public defender represent Mr. Nahara?
We will today, Judge.
Por hoy, la defensa pública va a representar al señor Nájera.
Okay.
My understanding is that Mr. Gomez Narea has not retained private counsel.
Tengo entendido que el señor Gómez Nájera no ha contratado abogado particular.
But because of the language barrier, I was not really able to speak with him about his case.
Sin embargo, debido a la barrera del idioma, no he podido hasta el momento hablar con él sobre su caso.
I guess the first question I would ask is, can he make $1,000 bond?
La primera pregunta que le haría al imputado sería, ¿tiene la capacidad de pagar una fianza de $1,000?
Sí, pero tengo que llamar a alguien, no he podido hacer una llamada.
Yes, but I would have to call somebody. I haven't been able to make a call.
I can make a call for you.
Yo puedo llamar por usted.
Bueno, el único número que me sé de memoria es de una muchacha que fue mi pareja, entonces.
The only number that I have committed to memory is a girl who was a former partner of mine.
I'll call whoever you want me to call.
Pues yo llamo a quien quiera que llame.
Okay, so le doy el número.
Okay, so shall I give you the number?
Sure.
Sí, claro.
Ella no habla inglés,
She doesn't speak English.
Okay, I'll have my partner call.
Bueno, entonces mi compañero va a llamar.
305
305
244
244
33.
33
Sí, 3314.
3314.
What is Mr. Gomez's prior criminal history?
¿Cuáles son los antecedentes penales del señor Gómez?
There's nothing coming up based on my initial check.
Dice el fiscal que no encontramos nada en este momento, basado en una revisión inicial.
If he has no prior record, Judge, I'd ask the court to consider releasing him on pretrial release.
Su señoría, si el señor Gómez no tiene antecedentes penales, solicitaría que su señoría contemple la posibilidad de liberarlo con medidas cautelares.
Your Honor, on this particular case, the state will be arguing against that.
Su señoría, en este caso específicamente, la fiscalía argumentaría en contra de eso.
The problem is, I don't think the defendant has very strong ties in the community.
El problema es que yo no creo que este acusado tenga lazos muy fuertes con la comunidad.
And there's no guarantee that he will come back if he's released on his own recognizance on this particular case.
Y no existe ninguna garantía de que si es excarcelado sea liberado, vuelva a comparecer a su siguiente cita judicial, si se le libera.
Based on what I've just stated on the record, I'll be asking that the bond be left in place as is.
Y con base en ese argumento que acabo de dejar constando en acta, solicitaría que la fianza sea dejada tal cual.
Okay.
Yeah, and it appears that the original call made was for a domestic violence call.
Y según parece que la primera llamada que se hizo inicialmente fue por una situación de violencia doméstica.
So I'm going to leave the bond at $1,000.
Así que voy a dejar la fianza en $1,000.
What is the name of the person that we're calling?
¿Cómo se llama? La muchacha a la que estamos llamando, ¿cómo se llama?
Alejandra.
Alejandra.
Okay, we will call Alejandra.
Muy bien, vamos a llamar a Alejandra.
All right, good luck, sir. Is
Bien.
there anyone
Buena
else who
suerte,
needs a
señor.
Spanish interpreter?
No, Your Honor.
I don't think so. We only have 3 left. And
Okay.
all right, thank you.
Sure.
Robert Davis. Is Mr. Davis still on medical reset? Robert Davis.
North Broward, Judge.
It is North Broward. Do you have Robert Davis? He was a medical reset yesterday, so hearing nothing. Jerome Shaw.
North Broward as well, I believe, Judge.
We have to Jerome Shaw. Is anyone at North Broward? All right, well, we're checking, how about Mr. Gajraj? Tariq?
Judge, he's here present, Mr. Gadra, and he advises he has private counsel, Mr. Jason Kaufman.
All right, sir, you're before the court today, and you've got count 3 is an out-of-county felony hold. It's a no bond hold. That's not for magistrate. And also, you have a felony violation of probation. That's also a no bond hold. So, out of Dade County. So there's not much that's going to happen today. So you're on a no bond hold on these 2 counts. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Good luck, sir.
North Broward.
He's posted bond on what? Oh, okay.
Thank you, Virginia.
All right.
North
All right.
Broward confirms Mr. Davis is a medical reset.
Mr. Davis is a medical reset. And how about the other, Mr. Shaw?
They don't have anybody else.
All right, so we'll reset both Mr. Davis and Mr. Shaw. All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you this afternoon.